Hey, James here, and guess what? It's time for yet another Office Hours with the Professor. So, where are we going this week? As usual, taught my regular set of courses, and hey, these were a good set of courses. I had a public speaking class that was pretty darn incredible. Intercultural communication, rocking it. Media law and ethics, impressive. Criticism class, can't complain. Things that I'm noticing. Students, listen please, listen and get this into your head. It's really important that not only are you reading the materials, and I know you're busy, there's all sorts of things going on. I'll get to that in just a second. It's really important that not only do you read the materials, not only do you listen to that lecture, yeah, get that hand right? Not only do you listen to that lecture, but that you link up the lecture and the notes and you find that sweet spot in the middle. That's the spot where the learning is really taking place. Because you can go read the stuff, bring it back to your professor, bring it back to your tutor, bring it back to those people you're talking with so you can really put it together. That's really important. So you need to do the readings and you need to go back over your notes. I can't stress how important this is, yet it seems to be lost on so many people. So it's really easy. Take some notes. And I know you're saying, hey, I'm going to type them in. No. Take hard copy notes, transcribe them, do what you got to do, but link them up, link the things together. One, it's really good for your brain because it's forcing you to listen and make bite-sized packets. Two, if you're going to be transcribing it, you got to re-review it, you got to reread it, you got to rethink about it. It gets into your head, you really learn this stuff. So this is really important. Linking up notes and class lectures. Two, I'm going to say this again. Ask questions. Everyone has a question. You always have a question. There's always something on your mind. It is incredible to me that so many students have no questions. Look, I might be one of the cream of the crop professors in teaching. I doubt it. But I cannot imagine that I'm answering every single question every student has in the course of putting together the materials. I have questions. When I'm finished, I'm going, did I actually get that right? Or ask questions. No question, the smallest question, no question is a dumb question. So ask them. It's important. Really, truly, ask your questions. This is an important one that I've noticed with just our colleagues and your colleagues. You've got colleagues. If you got colleagues that are doing something, they send you a note about, maybe you've got an event, and maybe, just maybe that event is just a tiny little thing, but acknowledge it. Especially if it's in your field, especially if it's an example of something you're doing, especially if it is something that maybe you can send students to and say, hey, here's a virtual event. Maybe you should go and check it out because we do event. But just acknowledge it. Just acknowledge that you've got colleagues doing something, even if it's a short note. Hey, it looks really good. I can't make it. I find, because I do events, I'm part of Creative Mornings, and hey, you're seeing this at CM_Dubai, an exquisite team. Kat, Rhonda, Shivani unfortunately had to leave. Swati is doing some great work with us. Richard Kaywood. Who have I missed? I'm sure I've missed somebody. Bhavika, who's working with all of our soundtracks and Spotify playlists. Look, we got this great team that's putting together this thing called Creative Mornings. Used to be, pre-COVID, used to be this wonderful opportunity to get into a room in the morning for an hour, hear someone talk on a theme. This month's theme, Spectrum, by the way. Google us, Creative Mornings, all one word. Throw Dubai in there, you're gonna find us. Google creativemornings.com. You're gonna find just hundreds of events that are taking place around the world. So we've got this great team. We're pulling together, unfortunately, unfortunately or fortunately, depends on how you look at it. We used to do these things, these morning events in person. Now we've gone virtual. I'm still not so sure I'm sold on the virtual world, only because I live in Zoom with all my classes. And so creative mornings in a virtual atmosphere, it's cool, it's there, it's accessible, it's easy, it kills the commute. Can we recreate that in-person feel? And we're working on that. We're truly, that is taking up a lot of our time, so that it's not just a bunch of people sitting there going, yeah. We want people to engage, so we're playing with that. We're kind of throwing some convention upside down, and we'll see. I'm confident that we're going to pull this off, because we've got Dr. Upsana Gala, the brain rock star, is going to be in talking about harnessing brain power and the full spectrum of thought that is involved. It's going to be really cool. So why I bring that up? Because you should go check it out and you want to get it. It's Monday, Dubai time, 8:15 a.m. kickoff. We're done by 9:15 because people got to go to their Zoom classes. But the reason I bring that up is, hey, you know what? If you get a little note from me in your inbox or something, just let me know you got it. Say, hey, that sounds really cool. Like, Jake James, sounds like a load of garbage. I'm never going to go. Hey, I want to hear from you either way. But I'm surprised at the number of emails that I'll send out and get no response. And so I kind of like wonder, all right, is anyone seeing this? Like, does anyone care? Does it fit in? And you might say to yourself, okay, James, you're a professor of communication. You kind of teach communication theory stuff. How does this fit in? And it really, when I look at the big picture of what I'm doing, whether it's podcasting, whether it is creating and helping to facilitate these kind of events, they're all just a manifestation of what I do as a creative a creative professor and a creative who is in the academic world. So I'm taking that theory that we're playing with in class and putting it into practice. And I think that's kind of cool. But I got to tell you, I just don't get it. That sometimes I'll throw these things out to my colleagues and hear nothing. So it's weird. It's weird. So my message to you is, people are sending that stuff out. You're getting that email. Take a second and just write back and say, hey, thanks for letting me know. Unfortunately, I can't make it, or just engage. And I think that, to me, is the big message that I wanted to get across in my office hours right now, is we are fundamentally detached from each other at the moment. Detached in a physical sense. In many of our workplaces, in our education environments, where we used to be face-to-face, we used to be in the office together, we used to be hanging out together. We're not doing that. We're living just like this in a video world. Maybe we pick up the phone. I know that you don't, but maybe you pick up the phone. And this detachment works really well for us to not get involved with others, to sort of say, it's, you know what, I really don't want to be that engaged. I don't want it facilitates it. But ultimately, we're social beings. We have feelings. We're constantly searching for affirmation from second parties. Our self is built on the images and ideas and feedback from others. So you help your neighbor. That's that say thank you. That's reach out and say hello. That's give some feedback on what's going on. You know, it's kind of simple. It's a little thing, but it makes a huge difference. So I can't stress enough how important it is to really reach out to your friends and colleagues and others who are doing things and be just a little engaged. What else do I want to talk about? Meetings. Oh, there we go. I had a great meeting yesterday, a committee meeting. And I got to say, the plan for the meeting, again, you can see I'm doing a lot of this small stuff, right? The plan for the meeting was a nice short meeting. It didn't go so short. Went about 45 minutes. Plan was 35 minutes. So we still went going. The key to a meeting, have a plan and have a reasonable plan. I've been to some meetings, not so many now because we live in the virtual world. And just by virtue of meeting through Teams, meeting through LinkedIn, meeting through Meet, Zoom, the technology tends to compress everything anyway, so you want to get out of there faster. Have a reasonable agenda for a meeting. Hey, we're going to talk about one thing, we're going to talk about two things. Reasonable agenda. That's the key. When things get introduced to your meeting that are off the agenda, rein it back in. Big challenge with meetings, and I've been to a lot of them, you've been to a lot of them. What meetings don't work? What fails in a meeting? Think about it. So you got the agenda. A, the agenda's too packed, you got to cut it down. 45-minute meeting, you can do one or two things. That's it. And if you want to have some conversation, that's going to eat away at that as well. So then you can do one thing. But where do meetings fail? So we have the agenda, we sit there, we write notes, we have minutes. Meetings fail because you've got all this content, you've got this stuff you're doing, but you never have typically, okay, we got 5 points here. We need to move forward with them to bring them back to our committee as a whole. Now I need to say, okay, James, you're going to go work on this. You know, Richard, you're going to go work on that. Matt, you're going to go work on this. And I'm just using names of people in my meeting, which is exactly what we did. We had a number of things that came up. Could we solve them in the meeting? No, they need more work. Can we do the work as a whole? Not really. Can we do a whole bunch of the groundwork individually? Yes. So you assign the tasks, but Hotspots, Linda Grattan. If you haven't read that book, London School of Economics, that's where she was when she wrote the book. I assume she's still there. I do not know. Linda Grattan, Hotspots, though, is the book. The key to a good meeting is an endpoint. Not only an endpoint of the meeting, but an endpoint for the activities that you have people being assigned to do. So if I say, okay, James, I want you to do a survey of your faculty about different tools that they're using online. We just want to know, what are people using? What do they like about it? Old school, new school, what are you using? No judgment, just want to share. Put a deadline for that. Say, okay, we'll put that together, get it out in a week. We're going to meet in 2 weeks and let's share the content and then post it up for everyone. Have an endpoint. Not, yeah, we'll get to it. Have an endpoint, a distinct, permanent, there it is, point final endpoint. So many meetings go wrong because there's no endpoints. And it's like our class, it's like an assignment, right? You have an assignment, you know it's due, you get it in. And I think that's important. Which brings me to another rant. Feeling like Tom Peters here a little bit. So this rant is kind of an interesting one because what kind of gets on my mind a little bit here is when we're looking at assignments and when we're looking at things due, why, and this is really aimed at students, but hey, faculty members and others are the same thing. You want to know, what's the last moment I can get this in? What's the deadline? Stop thinking in terms of deadlines and this is that moment. Why not under-promise, over-deliver? What am I talking about? Okay, the deadline, you obviously you set a hard finish point. But what if I deliver my work earlier? What if I get it in a day earlier? What if I get it in a week earlier? Why do I have to wait right to that end point? Because I've now timed my start of all those activities to hit that end point. Why not start earlier? Why not start right away while the iron's hot? Why not get it done? Why not get it in? As opposed to, can I get a little extra time? Really? Like, really? Under promise, over deliver. You're going to want to do that in the business world. You're going to want to do that in all of your activities that you do outside of education. That's part of life. So start acting on it. The other thing that I find really annoying, and I've got a lot of annoyances this week, but look, I produce a plan for my courses. Every date of everything is there. And I know we're in a COVID environment and I know there's stuff going on, but all the dates are there. Why are you making appointments when you have a due date and something that you physically have to do? I've given you the dates. I've put them forward. They're there. They're published. It's a published date. Please respect the dates. They're there for a reason. It drives me nuts. I was like, why is everything a negotiation? It is there. It's an assessment. It's there for a reason. It's not a negotiation. It's there to get it done. Is it stressful? Yes, because that's the environment I've created a little bit of artificial stress for that thing that you're doing. You know you're going to have to go to a doctor's appointment. You know, oh, I got to make a doctor's appointment. I want to make it on Thursday, and I got to make it. Oh, hold on. No. You open up your calendar on your phone because you put all your dates in there, and you go, oh, I can't do it Thursday at noon because I got an assessment that I've got to go to. Because part of it says to me, when people just start bumping around and start looking for excuses, is my time not valuable? Like, I get we have lots of things, but are you suggesting that what I'm doing is not important? Are you suggesting that the grade that you're going to be assigned or the time that you're putting into a class is not important? Then why are you here? It's like, you know what I mean? Just drives me a little bit bonkers in the head. And look, I get it. I get that we have life and I get things get in the way, but a tiny bit of self-respect and a tiny bit of respect for your professors. That being said, things do happen. And if you know, on the other side, when stuff does happen, and I got to give credit to the folks who've had to deviate from the plan. Fortunately, there's a buffer, but at least they got in touch well in advance, not after. And I think that's a real crazy one, is like, oh yeah, sorry, I couldn't make it. It's like, don't tell me you couldn't make it. Tell me before you're not going to make it, right? It becomes really interesting. You hear that? That's a breath. Hear that? That's silence. We need to take a break once in a while. You need to not be reading anything to do with your that's my dog yawning. You need to take a break. Not be reading schoolwork, not be on your phone, not be watching TV. Just taking a break, getting into a stretch, holding it, looking outside. We are so wrapped up now in our coursework, in our businesses, in connecting through Zooms and getting stuff done. The mental strain of living in a COVID environment, it's huge because we keep reading numbers every day. Second wave is here. Second wave is here. Are you going to be able to travel? Probably not. These become huge things. Ladies and gentlemen, please invest a little bit in yourself, just a little bit, and take a little bit of time. 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Just invest in yourself, please. And sometimes you got to say no. When someone says, hey, can you get this for me? Can you do this for me? You say, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, that really becomes important. You got to carve out that time for you, and sometimes you just can't do it. Final thing. When you got stuff up in your brain that's really bugging you, when you got things that you just need to get off your chest, get them off your chest. Don't let it rumble around in your head. Say it, act on it, publish it, talk to someone, make a phone call, record it, do what you got to do. You need to jettison the baggage. If you let things rumble in your head, the more you think about it, the more it gets in there, the more it's going to do you in. Do something about it. Talk about it, share it, let it free so that you can concentrate on the stuff that you can do something about and the stuff that matters. If you don't do that, you're just creating a self-perpetuating monster of mental fatigue that you don't need, truly. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I got to go teach. I got some podcasts to edit. Want to follow podcasts, the James Cast, Podaholics. That's where we publish. And you know what? Thanks for coming to Professor James's office hours. We'll do it all again real soon. And hey, you know what? The next one I won't rant. I've got some great information I'll share on the next one. Thank you very much. James out.